Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Miss Taylor 1976. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my journey. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. So I'm driving along. This is another Car Chronicles about a loner lifestyle. And I made a statement in my last video that has plagued me to further interpret. Why? Because this is a global platform and I'm very cautious about what I say to individuals, to my audience, hoping that I am not encouraging them in any form or fashion to not seek professional help. I had said something about being a loner and my fear with therapy. And then I discovered a YouTuber who has a channel where he was talking about the way women mask autism, slight autism. There's a lot of autism that's in spectrum, and it caught me. And again, he's about self-help and better help, and it really did caught me because, you know, a black woman in America, you know, let's put racism aside. Let's just talk about the inadequacies of the baggage of racism, right? We're always made to feel inferior. And this isn't a victimhood. I'm not going to give even those negative descriptions any life. What I am trying to untangle, or at least explain, is how a lot of experiences in life interacting with other human beings make an impression on you so deep that it taints your view of the world, it taints your view of people, and you're never able to trust because it left such a mental and emotional scar, right? So we were talking about the spectrums of autism, and I'm going back to the 10 Basic Rules by Manly P. Hall. Both of those things are important to me to consider because, one, I am not a professional, right? I'm not a professional therapist or psychologist. And as much as I advocate for being a loner, although I can be strong and have a bravado to say that, you know, you just don't need people and be your own motivator. For some people, it's harder than others. Some days it's harder than not to be that way, and I want to be full disclosure about how emotionally taxing it is to really come to the realization that, you know, life is all really on you. You know, that pseudo security that you feel with friends and family is pretty much not real. It's real in the matrix, it's real in the moment, and you should make more of those moments, except that when it comes to really being a human being, all things lie with you. So that means your education, your health, your upkeep, your living, your lifestyle. We're all born in this world naked, and by the end of our life, our brain took us to where we are by the end of life, if that makes sense. This isn't a rant as much as it's a reflective interpretation of whether or not being a loner helps people untangle real emotional, sometimes physical pains and trauma, right? I would love to have the audience engage with me, to talk to me, or at least share, if you're comfortable sharing, your experience, good, bad, or indifferent, with therapy, so that I can understand better the process that it took you through and what did you feel. I'm going to give you a, quick story time. I had a cousin, God rest his soul, who went to therapy because he was, going through the pressures of life, and he felt the therapist was over prescribing him and wasn't really giving him tools that didn't involve medication. And when he brought it up to the therapist, she got offended. You know what I mean? And that's kind of hard when you tell a professional that the treatment they're prescribing does not really fit with the way you want to live life. You want tools to better manage your emotions, but they shouldn't come at the hest of narcotics or, synthetic medication. Now that's just my interpretation of it. Again, I'm not a doctor. The doctor knows best, right? Or do they? The best thing about being a loner is nobody can tell you about you more than you. And that's what professionals like to pretend to do. When I say pretend, it's this arrogance and this air that I'm studied and learned and I know about you. You don't even have to tell me. And you're like, the shoes I've walked in, the life path my parents, the trauma, you don't know. You're seeing the effects of it. The culmination of all those things. If I don't get control of my conscious, if I don't get control of my psyche, if I don't get control of my story, then I can let outsiders influence me all the time. And I'll start looking for things to cope, like drugs and alcohol and sex. And that's why I really advocate the loner style, because if you hang with a lot of people, that's what they're going to push you to for you to not deal with your emotions. Drugs, alcohol, sex. Now, drugs, alcohol, and sex by itself isn't really bad until you abuse it. Everything can be abused. So don't abuse that. And I just feel, overall, humans should spend a healthy amount of time solitarily to understand themselves better. A lot of who they are is probably emulating from TV shows and other people. People pick up characteristics of other people and build a person all the time. I'm going to take a little bit of Beyonce. I'm going to take a little bit of Mahatma Gandhi, and bada bing, bada boom. You know what I mean? I'm a boho star. And, again, who are you? What is your life mission? And can you even trust that therapy or the act of going to therapy will help whatever emotional deficiencies you feel need some attention? Wow, this is blowing my mind. I'm having this conversation with myself, even though I'm talking to the camera, and I'm like, wow, I really, that book really opened up the way that I'm thinking. So I would love to start a dialogue. So people, please write comments. Tell me about it, even if you hate it. I don't care, because I would rather know what's going on than to assume that, I'm touching everyone. And then I want to open a dialogue. I want to know who my audience is so I can better serve you better. Okay, so thank you for stopping by, Miss Taylor 1976. Be sure to hit that bell so you can subscribe and find out the next time I am uploading a video. Welcome, new members, and thank you all for watching me.